Hi everyone, this is Maria Unabridged, and today we're gonna talk about Amber Heard. So strap in and get ready for this roller coaster. Hey everyone. So I wanted to talk about this. I know that this has been a really hot topic with the court case going on and the verdict that came out a couple weeks ago. I think, I don't even remember anymore. Everything is mush at this point. But I wanted to talk about something, especially since Amber's, is it a Dateline interview? I don't remember. It was with Savannah Guthrie, I think is her name. And I kind of want to talk about this because I watched, a good portion of the case out of curiosity. I really am interested in the legal system. I, at one point, wanted to become a lawyer and then decided against it because I am not a bit as like Camille Vasquez, and I don't think it would end very well for me. But so I've watched bits and pieces and, watched the trials, watched some of the testimonies, and it was just very interesting. I went into it very open-minded. As a woman, oftentimes, especially with the Me Too movement, we try to be accepting of people's accusations and understanding and really supporting them in that pursuit. And so I went into it, I wouldn't say on Amber's side, but leaning towards Amber. As a woman who has faced similar types of issues as the one that was at hand, I wanted to support her. I wanted to, make sure that she was heard and understood and didn't feel alienated, because I understand how easy it is for people to be like, well, I don't believe you. I'm not going to believe you. And, it's very easy from an outside perspective for both sides of the coin to be like, yeah, I believe this person, I believe that, whatever. But with the Me Too movement, obviously Amber wanted to be a really big part of that, writing that op-ed and trying to pursue being a forefront of that. And while the sentiment itself is admirable, after watching the court case, it's a little bit concerning, and here's why. So I've been watching a lot of behavioral analysis because I'm also interested in psychology and understanding how our brains work, understanding how our bodies work, understanding how our faces work, and whatnot. And it's so interesting because our baselines are so different from one another, right? Like, I talk with my hands a lot, and in some cases that can be a sign of deception, but if it's your baseline, it's not. And so it's just interesting to watch these analysts talk through it and work through her facial expressions, the way she says things, how she says things, the way her bodies shift, the way her emotions shift. And so as the court case went on and as the trial went on and as the witnesses kept coming and just listening to testimonies, and let me preface this by saying I in no way absolve Johnny Depp for the mistakes that he made. However, I do think that he owned up to his shit, and took accountability for the actions. And obviously, we don't know what happened behind closed doors. But based on the evidence that was presented and the verdict of the jury, to me, it comes across pretty clear. And especially after watching these behavioral analysts talk about her during the trial and now post-trial. And I hate to say that because as a female, if I was in that situation and I really had been abused, I would want people to believe me and I would stand by my story. But it just, the culmination of evidence and the witnesses that, took away from pieces of her story and made her story not line up was just really eye-opening. As somebody that doesn't have any expertise, it was very evident to me that she didn't come across as honest and accountable, and didn't come across as trustworthy, which is, again, that's coming from somebody. I don't know any better. I've watched trial footage and I've watched behavioral analysts. That's what I've got to go off of. And then my limited scope of knowledge in school. So I look at this and go, I really want to be on your side, but I just can't anymore. And I really think she's doing a disservice to herself right now by going and talking about the things that she's talking about and continuing to kind of deflect things. Now, reflecting on why I want to talk about this. There's two sides to this coin, right? There is the side of the coin where this physical and sexual violence didn't happen at all, and Amber is perpetuating this story and storyline and whatnot. There's also the other side where if things did happen and she's dealing with that trauma, trauma response and whatnot. With that said, based on what I've seen, I'm going to go with the prior and talk on that for a little bit. I really think that if that is the case, she is in this cycle of not understanding the impact of what she's doing. And I also think, a lot of the times we see with people with personality disorders or narcissism or whatever their diagnosis is, they tend to be able to tell a lie and have conviction behind it. I have experience with this. Personally, my biological father is a master at that. He can lie to anybody and not bat an eye. He's very consistent in doing that. That's just that he just can't help himself. And so I've seen that manipulation from that side of things. And I have seen him literally, things that I have gone through, things that I have witnessed, things that I have been a part of. I have watched him turn that into a narrative completely opposite of what actually happened. And so I am seeing this as somebody who saw all the evidence. I saw Amber's photos of Johnny with ice cream on his lap and passed out on the floor and this and that and the other. And to me, she took so many photos of so many things that it just doesn't make sense for her to not have evidentiary backup. And that's not to say that if you don't have that, then you're a liar or it didn't happen to you. But when somebody, talking about baselines, and her case, her baseline was to take photos of a lot of different things relative or not to this situation. And so that tells me that the photos that she did take, she presented, she brought to court, but she didn't have photos of all the other things. And to me, if you're going to photograph a slight bruise on your cheek, why are you not photographing your face getting busted in? And so, I just look at it as, I definitely think, and again, as somebody that has mental health issues myself, I think that she has some mental health issues that are unaddressed. I think she has childhood trauma that really, really is regressing her from being able to pull out of this cycle that she is in. And I genuinely really hope that she gets help that she needs, because for her benefit and for her daughter, I think that the things that have gone on social media are disgusting. I don't care what side of the coin you're on, if you're supporting Johnny or if you're supporting Amber. I don't care. I think the vitriol to both sides has been disgusting, or just trolls in general as a whole. Threatening her daughter is not okay. Threatening her is not okay. Do I believe she deserves karma? Who am I to say? If she's lying, then yes, absolutely. But if she's not, then things will take its course. But I really, genuinely, truly just hope she gets help and is able to come out the other side. Because this aside, I think she has a lot that she needs to work through. And because I've seen I've seen that. I've been her struggling through childhood trauma. I've been her crying every night, having nightmares, not being able to sleep, having nobody in support. I have been in that situation, and I have dealt with those struggles, and I have tried to go through it. And unfortunately, it doesn't sound like she has a very good ecosystem at home. She doesn't have a very good amount of people around her that care and love for her. And I think that the culmination of that and this trial and the stress of having a 1-year-old daughter, I think it's a lot for any human to handle, let alone somebody that you know is having a hard time with herself as a human, if that makes sense. I don't think it does, but anyway. All right, with that being said, I do feel for her in the sense that I think her brain chemistry is struggling. I think that she needs a support system that is actually going to be honest with her. That was one of the things that I thankfully had when I was going through trying to recover from my mental health, my childhood trauma, my abuse that I had been through, all of that. And I really genuinely hope that she seeks help for herself and for her daughter, because I think her daughter deserves Amber Heard at 100%. I don't think her daughter, should have to struggle with Amber at 50%. I don't know her personally, obviously. I just think that, she clearly has love for her daughter, and I think her daughter deserves that love, but I think her daughter also deserves her mom to be healthy mentally, physically, and otherwise. And I really do wish the best for her. I really hope she can figure that out, because again, as somebody that has struggled with my mental health and being in cycles of my own abuse, and it sounds like she had those cycles from childhood, I really think that she could turn to a new chapter if she really tried. I just think that she needs some honesty around her, and she doesn't have that. With that being said, I really hope that you guys will comment, tell me about the things that you've been through, tell me how you think this trial makes you feel, how these interviews make you feel. I personally, I was triggered at times, and I'm especially so in the interviews post-trial by Amber, just because I've been through those kind of things myself, and some of the things she's saying just don't feel consistent with how a lot of survivors have felt, and I've seen a lot of people voice that opinion. But anyway, ring off in the comments. I will definitely try to interact with as many people as possible. I'd love to have this conversation. Tell me how it makes you feel. I am here if, I can help in any way. And again, I really hope that there's resolution and both parties find peace and can move on from this. This is Maria Unabridged, bridging the gap between imagination and reality. And I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your night, day, or whatever time you're watching this at.
Oh, go, still go, I know, so, no, still go.